Hey there, friendlies. It's cold. It's -3, and I have here a little bit of tea to help cleanse my palate because I'm doing 2 of these in a row. Had some water, and then I'm gonna have my tea. But I'm gonna open this up first, get it in the glass, let it aerate a little bit. Oh, my hands aren't working all that well, guys. Like at all. Let's just sort of I know I've said on several occasions that I do not have the patience for Canadian whiskey. So what's this doing here, right? Yeah. I figured I'd give it a try. I keep looking for Canadian whiskeys to like, as much as I like the Lot 40. I find that most Canadian whiskeys, like the Crown Royal and stuff like that, it's good for making cocktails with, but I would never be caught dead with any of those, like even in my bar cart. I've heard good things about Gooderham Worts, and I've heard not so great things. This is by Corby, which is the same company that makes the Lot 40, so I figure they know how to make whiskey. This is the 49 Wellington. Does this hit my check boxes? Meh. It's got an age statement. It's not a single malt, but the context is wrong for that anyway. It uses 4 grains, including something called winter red wheat, which I guess is great because they've got it, I think, on the front of the unique 4-grain blend with red winter wheat. Okay. I know that during the maturing process, at some point, they have red oak staves in the barrel. This is supposed to give it a pleasantly spicy taste and blah, blah, blah. We're not getting any Scotch mist because I do not think that this is a non-chill filtered whiskey. It says nowhere on the bottle anything about chill filtering or about caramel coloring, so always assume the worst if they don't say on the bottle. I guess there's nothing to do but sort of give it a little nose and a little taste, right? So there's a little fruit. There's a big hit of butterscotch. Not a massive hit. It's there. It's present. And there's a wood, like a waxy thing, wood, like an oak, but not the way I found in like the scotches or something. It's a different wood, like an older wood, like a dust. There's a sawdust in there too. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, this right off the nose is probably one of the most interesting Canadian whiskeys I've ever had. Maybe I should start looking more into Canadian whiskey. Like right now, Canadian whiskey's having a moment in that there are a lot of micro distilleries popping up, and they're apparently doing great stuff. This is not a micro. This is by Corby, right? But maybe there's almost a turpentine thing in there as well, though. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean just like sort of I think that's the waxy, maybe a little oily thing happening. Interesting. Man, that is way too big a dram. Well, I guess we got to give it a taste. We definitely got to give it a taste. Oh, before I go any further, I forgot to say, this really hits one of my check boxes. This is 49% ABV. So, I mean, we're not talking cask strength, but we're definitely over the 45 that I kind of consider my threshold. Sorry about the sinuses, but it is cold out here, guys. I'm just giving it another sniff before I go in. Okay, I'm going in. This is Canadian? Wow. Good mouthfeel. There's that sweetness there. Now I'm not sure if it's like a toffee or maybe a brown sugar. There's more brown sugar, maybe like a fudge. Like a maple fudge, because there's a maple thing happening there too. And by the way, I usually do not like maple whiskey, but oh, there's The woodiness is still there. There's a vanilla thing happening. Something like maybe a pumpernickel happening, you know, like a bread, a pumpernickel, or something bready. Maybe a pastry. I'm not sure, but something bready. Pumpernickel was the first thing that hit my mind, so that's probably what I'm looking for. And pepper. There's definitely like a black pepper. There's like no smoke or anything on this, right? There's no peat, there's no smoke. It's really outside my wheelhouse. But it's not cloyingly sweet the way so many Canadian whiskeys are. There's like, I keep wanting to take another sip. I'm gonna have to add water pretty soon, but I want to do the finish first. One more sip. So pleasantly sweet. Like, so not sickly sweet the way so much Canadian whiskey is. And again, as I've tasted it now, the nose opens up a bit more, gets a little more complex. The pepper is heavier in the nose. And now that toffee I thought I detected, now that I've sort of said fudge, I'm thinking more like a brown sugary, fudgy kind of thing. The maple is much more present in the nose. Now, I have to reiterate what I've said before, that if you stick a glass to your nose and then take a sip and you detect tastes, they're there. You're not wrong, because taste and smell is so subjective. I'm doing the finish here. I'm just waiting. It just keeps going. And it's funny because start off with most of the same, like a little pumpernickel, a little fudge, a little maple and stuff, but as it sort of goes, I'm getting some like a caraway thing, or a, yeah, I think it's caraway. There's something citrusy. Not like a lemon or a lime, but like maybe a blood orange or a clementine maybe. But definitely there's something citrusy there. And it just keeps going. Devolves. There's almost a mint thing just at the very end there. I cannot believe that this is a Canadian whiskey, guys. Alright, I gotta stick water in it. Okay, we are losing our light in a big way. So let's do this. Just a drop. Get rid of the water. Oh. What's the temperature? Yeah, it's going down. Now it's -5. Great. Alright, with water, let it sort of relax a little bit. Well, on the nose, a little more simple. It's just gone into the sweet, but we know that that's not necessarily indicative of what's going to happen on the tongue. Wait, I swallowed that one too quickly. Okay, the fudge is still there in a big way, but now the pepper is there in a much bigger way as well. I'm getting a little bit more wood. A little bit more wood. That fruity thing that I was saying, like the raisin or whatever it was, it's not really there anymore. But it's definitely... But again, it's a different sweet than the usual kind of maple sin that so much Canadian whiskey is. It's definitely more like a fudgy thing happening. That citrus thing that I thought I detected in the finish, excuse me. It's there. The pepper is heavier though. The black pepper is heavier. The spice is a little. Sorry guys, I'm just gotta heat up my lips here. The spice is definitely bigger now. That caraway or something of that style is definitely bigger. Black pepper is definitely bigger. But the water didn't ruin this whiskey the way it has all of them up until now for me. Do I like it better with or without the water? Without, absolutely. I think this is a fabulous bottle without the water. comparatively speaking. But with the water, it's still very drinkable. I'm enjoying this. Oh, so good. You know what? This would be a good like after supper whiskey. Sometimes at dessert time you'll have a glass of port or like something like that. That's where this fits in well. I'm not sure if I would sit back with one of these, like with a book in front of a fire, or something the way I would with some of my favorite scotches, like that poor departed Octomore. But this is so much better than I was expecting. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised. When I saw this sitting there and I saw the price, I was like, oh, on a Canadian? But I did it anyway. It's 90, somewhere between 90 and $100 in Quebec. So I'm not giving you the price so that that's what you should be looking for. I'm just saying that it's not a bottom shelf Canadian whiskey price. So I was very hesitant. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. I would buy this bottle again. Okay, that's all she wrote. Thanks for hanging out with me for this little whiskey review. This unbelievably pleasant whiskey review, comparatively. If you like what I'm doing, I need you to do 3 things. Comment down below. Have you tasted this, either before or because of me? Did you like it? Do you think that I'm right, that it is great for Canadian whiskey, or did you kind of hate it? Did my tasting notes align with yours? I'm very interested to know that aspect of what I'm doing here, because I know that taste is subjective and everything, but I also want to know whether or not my tasting notes are useful. Okay? So yeah, comment down below. Also suggest another Canadian if you want me to do it, and if I can get it here in Quebec. Otherwise, we are SOL, as my dad would say. Aside from that, please share the video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and leave me a smiley thumb. If you don't like what I'm doing, we're good, man. Just leave me a frowny thumb. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.